in this video we're going to look at something called proportionality, which is normally covered in year 10, but it's a fitting one to do in these videos, so we can have a look at this today. So if two things are proportional, that means as one increases, the other increases by the same rate. And there's a few ways of recognising these kind of questions. So you might see, sorry, it's in green. You might see, for example, y is directly proportional to x. Or you might just say y is proportional to x. Or it may sometimes say, very rarely, but it might just say y varies as x. So all of these three things, they highlight that you're dealing with a question on proportion. Okay, and when you read these questions, when you see that y is directly proportional to x, we write y is directly proportional, which is this funny little kind of alpha sign, little looks like a little fish. Y is directly proportional to x. Okay, so this proportional bit here is represented by this symbol. Okay, it might say varies as, or it might say directly proportional. All we have to do in order to use this is replace the little symbol with equals, and we multiply the right hand side by k. So y equals kx. And we call k, this is called the constant of proportionality. So y equals kx. And it doesn't necessarily have to be y, it does not necessarily be x. We tend to use k for the constant, but it could be y is proportional to x squared, or y is proportional to x cubed, or t is proportional to s, or something like that. So just read the question carefully and then translate it into maths. So that's kind of the notes. Well, let's have a look at some examples. So, examples. Number one. So, y is, so we'll just stick with the easiest type first. Y is proportional to x. So they will tell you the kind of definition for the question, and then they'll give you some sort of boundary conditions. So they'll say when y is 12, x equals 4. In fact, just change these all to equal. So when y equals 12, x equals 4. And part A is going to be find formula linking y and x. Part B is going to be find y when x equals -2. And part C is going to be find x when y equals 21. Okay, so as we read through this, y is proportional to x, so this goes down. I'll do this in red. So y, so part A, y is proportional to x. And all we do is we replace the proportionality sign with equals, and we multiply the right hand side by the constant of proportionality, so y equals kx. We then go to our boundary conditions, which are at the top here and here, and we know that when y is 12, x equals 4, so we can put both of these into here. So y can be replaced by 12, and x can be replaced by 4. And then you'll notice when we do that, so put 12 in for, I'll do Karen in red, sorry. When y is 12, we put 12 in here. I don't need brackets because there's nothing happening to y here. K times x, x is 4. K times 4, we'll be better off writing 4k. And then divide by 4, we get k equals 3. So in these kind of questions, we'll always set up a kind of original equation with the constant of proportionality. We solve that, and we find constant of proportionality, which is in this case k equals 3. And once we've got k is 3, we can sub this back in to here now, and we get the formula linking y and x. So the final bit of part A, which is the formula linking y and x, is therefore we can say that y equals kx, but we know k is 3, so y equals 3x. And there's our formula linking y and x. Okay, it's just got y's and x's. This one is y's, k's and x's. If they only ask for y and x, we don't really want a k in there. So that's part A. And once we've got that formula, then for the rest of the question, we're going to be using y equals 3x. So in part B, it says find y when x is minus 2. So all we have to do is throw minus 2 into our equation. So when x is minus 2, y will be 3 times minus 2. So y is minus 6. And similarly, that's part B. So similarly, part C, find x when y is 21. So hopefully we can figure out here, we're going to put y equals 21 in this time. So replace, here's our formula again, still the same formula that we've found from part A. And then we can say, well, when y is 21, we can put 21 in here. It's 3x, divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 7. So we just need a little step there to rearrange that. And that's how proportion works. All that might change is the letters in the question or how they kind of set up that original part. But everything else after that follows exactly the same. Let's do another example. So number 2. Let's use this time, let's say, let's just use f. So f varies as g squared when f equals, let's go for 32, g equals 4. And then part A, very similar to this, but if I remember the varies as is the same as here, it just means proportional to, it's the same thing. So f varies as g squared. When f equals 32, g equals 4, part A is going to be find a formula linking f and g. Part B, find f when g equals 2. And part C, find g when f equals 128. So the first bit, part A, f varies as or is proportional to, this time it's g squared. So all we have to do is make sure we've got our squared so it matches up with the squared in the question. Wasn't a squared in the first question, but in this one there is, so we just got to make sure we're aware of that. We then change the proportionality sign to an equals and we multiply the right hand side by k, so kg squared. Sub in these values. So when f is 32, g is 4, so 4 squared followed BIDMAS, so we square the 4 before we times by k. 4 squared is 16, so this will be 16k, divide by 16, so we get k equals 2. And therefore our formula linking them f and g is going to be f equals, and k is now 2, so we can put 2 in there, so it's 2g squared. And from now on in the question, this is the formula we'll be using, and then we can just finish B and C quite nicely. So we're going to be using f equals 2g squared now. That's our formula. Find f when g equals 2. So when g equals 2, f equals 2 times by g squared. So in brackets, put 2 in for g. 2 squared is 4, so it's 2 times 4, so f will be 8. Part C, find g when f is 128. So again, we're still using the same formula from the first part. This time, f is 128. So we'll put 128 in for f. Divide by 2, which is 64. And then we square root both sides. And we should really get plus minus, so plus or minus 8. Okay, and they normally specify in the question whether they want a positive or negative answer. That's it.